Let me say thank you very much for inviting me to the program. I've always watched it, but this is the first time I've ever been on the program. I want to thank your host also, Mr. Diali, for the warm welcome. And to the audience, to the listeners, to the viewers, it's a pleasure to be here and to share a little bit. Not claiming to know it all, but at least to give some from experience.
Yes.
As you said, I'm pleasantly working with the PISLM, which is the Partnership Initiative for Sustainable.
That's an FAO project?
FAO is the partner with us. PISLM is the executing agency. FAO is the implementing entity.
Okay.
Right. We have it's PISLM. Was the acronym short is a regional intergovernmental organization. In fact, in April last year, the agreement was signed to establish it as an IGO. And in June this year, the Grenada will be the host for this IGO.
Okay.
It sits under CARICOM. Quoted, it was established by a quoted a decision in 2008. And it's going to be the first regional IGO that's going to be based in Grenada. Which is significant. It's historical, really. We don't have, like the other countries where you have OECS in St. Lucia, you have PISLM is going to be based in Grenada.
So it'll be based in Grenada.
Right?
Okay.
So we're just finalizing the modalities for establishing it as an IGO.
Okay.
And it's implementing the what we call the CSIDS SOILCARE Initiative, which is the Caribbean and Small Island Developing States project that is focused mainly on addressing the issue of land degradation, implementing the UNCCD Convention on Desertification. But the focus of this project is sustainable land management, sustainable soil management, and reversing land degradation in terms of the practices that is contributing towards low productivity, soil erosion, etc. The issue of policy. In this project, we support in some countries. Belize have just reviewed the national land policy to bring it more in line with addressing those issues of soil, land management, and land use, and also to integrate into it the targets that the country has set to reduce land degradation by 2030.
But
in 2023, we did a national soil sampling survey where we collected over 120 samples from the country. That was then sent off to the University of the West Indies to be analyzed. And we did that for all the other countries that's in the project, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Belize, Jamaica, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, St. Lucia. Right? Haiti is the only one left to be completed in this process. But from the analysis, we've seen that there are some challenges with the issue of soil fertility and soil health in Grenada. And part of it is the issue of the overuse of certain chemical fertilizers, right? That is contributing to some toxic levels of some things. So it is imperative right now that any conversation on agricultural productivity, food security, you must go to your soils data. You should start there, because that is what you'll use as a basis to know what you should do, when you should do it, and how much of you should do.
What's the good news there? Because we know that Grenada, we never had soil testing facilities. We're guessing. We don't know what fertilizers to apply. What is it? Well, but the bigger question: if the trends continue, if the practice continue, what is our soils going to look like in 10 to 20 years?
It will have an impact on some of the major export crops, cocoa, nutmeg productivity, and of course on vegetables. In terms of the quality, what we have found out is that poor gut is a major factor now in the Caribbean. Meaning people are consuming a lot of the vegetables, etc., but the quality in terms of the nutrition value is very low.
Soil issues.
Soil issues. It's directly linked to your soil.
Soil issues.
In fact, in the past, it was a documented fact that based on where you produce certain crops, you could actually taste the nutrients in it. That is no.
Any geographical area, regions in Grenada are greater affected in terms of poor soil conditions than others, you would say?
The coastal belt where we do a lot of vegetable production,
yeah,
that's we've seen an increase in some toxic levels of some of the minerals, and we have some concern with pH also, which of course affects your nitrogen and all of that.
Yeah.
How it sticks in the soil. Maps. So as part of this project, what we are going to do is we want to, one, establish a Caribbean soil information system where the soil information from all the countries are going to be hosted in one database. And the phase 2 of the project, we'll do all the 14 CARICOM countries. So we'll have all the soil information about those. And then out of that will come a decision support system, which is another layer, right, that will take all of the climate parameters, ecological parameters, etc., and convert it with the soils to tell you where are the best places to do. So but of course you need the policy to say, we endorse this, we support this, and we will implement it.
Not only that, the action plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Move it from the paper
that's what
to
I was
the field.
coming to, yes.
You understand? Because if I'm a businessman, I want to invest in agriculture right now, and I want to do vegetable, for example, I want to bring in soil.
Yeah.
And put it in a greenhouse. Because that's the only way I'll be able to control my production capability, ensure quality, and ensure pesticide control and all of that. So I using the science, I building my greenhouses and I put in soil.
Well, what we have done also in this project, that's why I said this project was really transformational. We tested your soil, but we also provided each country, we brought their labs up to a tier 1, where they're able to do the basics.
Will it be affordable for the farmers?
It will be when we then train the officers in each country to know how to take a sample, how to prepare the sample, and how to get the sample analyzed, right? And we went further to that. We did a training in December where we did standard lab operating procedures, how to have your standards, etc., in your lab, and also how to interpret your results from your soil sampling.
Right.
Present it in language that the farmer can
That the farmer can react to, respond to.
Right? Bring to level, say, okay, on this type of soil, you apply this amount of
precisely, yeah,
nitrogen, phosphorus.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So we did that. But one of the challenges I see with Grenada is human resource. Right? One, we need to set up, right now the equipment was provided to the produce chemist lab, right? The human capacity there is limited. So government needs to make a decision. Hey, we will establish a soils lab. We will put 2 or 3 persons in there. You don't need plenty.
So you have the equipment here.
You have the equipment.
Facilities are here.
Right.
Project supporting
right.
it.
And
you
then mandate now the extension and agronomy division that going forward samples must be taken from every
Is there
farm.
a timeline for this to happen, Trevor?
I'm coming to you on an
The
issue.
project can't make that decision, but we could advise that that's the way to go. We have
Still
advised
the
that,
government will.
right? And I believe we've seen some movement on that in the ministry,
Very
right?
good.
Because
Very
I think the officers understand the importance of this. There is a substantial, to calculate the tonnage of soil that is lost it's a process. It has to be done as a research.
As a research, yeah.
Right? But we know based on the land degradation neutrality study that was done, we know it's substantial.
Substantial.
Right? We're losing a lot of topsoil.
You can see
and good fertile soil.
Soil, yeah.
So I tell you, we got to import soil just
Right?
now.
Well, I mean, what I would call covered agriculture, protected agriculture,
Like tree crops in particular.
Is a measure that you could use to increase, but that has to focus on specific crops.
But one particular area, Trevor, for example, is, and that's the facts. According to Solid Waste, they were here, Management Authority. They say up to 40% of the waste sent to Perseverance landfill is organic and biodegradable. Mostly food and yard waste that could be composted and tree crops. But do you see a missed opportunity in not composting organic waste to use back in agriculture or home gardening?
Well,
what systems?
This project,
Yeah.
that composting is a major part of it. To teach soil management on the farm is going to be one of the components, and composting is one of the right major. Steve Maxime is actually our climate smart agricultural expert.
Okay.
And is pushing those kinds of policies and practices so that we could help to reduce the use of chemical fertilizer, because we know organic matter is extremely important for crop health, of soil health. We also is focusing on use of some of our traditional methods for soil conservation, like plan to use a lot of vetiver grass, right? We've started looking at the issue of the impact of blue maho that has become an invasive species. It was brought in here after Hurricane Janet to help stabilize and to reduce erosion, but blue maho is an invasive now. Wherever a seed fall, it grows.
Okay.
So it has proliferated in a lot of our forests, and it's a high consumer of water.
Okay.
Right? It takes a lot of moisture out of the soil.
Interesting, yeah.
So that's why above some of Nawasa's treatment plants, like in Les Avocats, where we did a small research to see where we removed a lot of the blue maho and we're replanting with indigenous species.
A lot of people like blue maho for furniture, so we need to probably promote it.
Well, of course.
And cut down them trees.
Of course, manage it. Yeah. It has to be managed.
Well, what are the other significant outcomes from the project
one is I spoke about the DSS, Decision Support System, the CASIS, the Soil Information System. What we have also done is we have established a number of working groups that is going to focus on soil management across the region. Strengthening the labs, the soil labs in all of those countries. In fact, when we convened a meeting with the heads of labs, that was the first time they ever met and knew one another physically. Imagine that. You have people in labs and they have never met before, never had a conversation. So we've established a grouping of the labs so that they could communicate and focus on the research, what needs to be done, what equipment we need, where we need to invest money.
So my question to you is what's really giving you hope, Trevor?
Hold on, before you go there, I want to ask Trevor another question. The impact of climate change, as you see it, I commend the project for taking a very scientific approach. But how are you guys looking at the impact of climate change on soil, on agriculture in general, in food production, from 2 points of view, really and truly, apart from soil condition? But what about the torrential downpour of rain that we see now? And then the droughts. And then the droughts.
Well, phase 2 of the project is going to focus. There's going to be a whole component focusing on drought and floods and the impacts on.
What's the timing for phase 2?
Phase 2, we hope that should roll out early next year.
Okay.
Right. So while phase 1 is wrapping up, it will start operating.
And the follow-up question to that is, what is the education plan for our farmers? Because this is going to require our farmers to take a different approach to what they do, how they do, and educate them. Is there educational training plan?
There's under component 5. There's a major component to give a lot of short-term capacity building opportunities for farmers and also for tertiary levels, like the agricultural farm school ahead, so just to strengthen its programs. So there's going to be a major program to focus on soils, land management, soil management, crop, etc. And using some of the technology. There's going to be a knowledge hub created in phase 1 that's going to be expanded in phase 2, where all of the information on soils and land management is housed. And not only that, we give 5 scholarships at the PhD level to 5 Caribbean nationals, 1 Grenadian benefited, to focus on soils.
Because all of us have smartphones. So to access the database on the field.
In your phone.
On your field. And we have to train. So and that's where we have to bring it.
The soils information is going to be available as an app on your phone.
Okay.
Right? So a farmer could actually go and see what's...
The demographic in Grenada is that the farmers' average age is in the 50s and 60s.
Well, it's coming down, from what I'm seeing now, and based on the interest I'm seeing, a lot of young people getting into farming because they realize it has potential. There's a career there. There's a career.
A livelihood.
Yeah. I mean, I want to put it more than a livelihood, because with the perception we have with livelihood is people are on the margins of survivability. You're just barely
Income,
survive.
your livelihood is your...
So the focus was on single mothers, only a livelihood. Just to keep them feeding their families. But you could have a good life in agriculture. I mean, I know guys gonna buy a van cash.
Of course.
And pick up cash.
Developing countries in the world, their farming core become millionaires because they don't move and they invest. And they invest in the generations.
So we're coming down to
I think for Grenada and the Caribbean, I think one of the weaknesses among the farmers is farmers organization.
Yeah.
We don't have strong. The few NIFO, Northeast Farmers Organization, was one of the strongest, and you could see the impact.
You can see the impact,
right? And I don't know, sometimes I think they're not encouraged because people see them as a threat. You know, they could have influence. But you want strong farmers organizations.
More collective approach.
They can advocate together for their own benefits.
Is the project taking any look at that part of it?
I can't say that
No.
Nutmeg Association and them have given us any hope in that farmers organization.
Trevor, we come into a close, but if you're going to speak to the average Grenadian farmer, every Grenadian farmer and gardener farmer directly, what is the single most important thing you're going to tell them about our soil today?
I would say we talk a lot about land, but soil is the basis of land. Know your soils. Get your soils tested. That is where you will begin to make very strategic decisions as to what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it. That's extremely important. Once you know that, once you know what the state of your soil, the soil health, you could really begin to plan and expand your farm itself.
Yeah, and be consistent.
Because on one farm you could have different fertility levels, you could have different soil types sometimes on one, because the soil boundaries could pass through your farm. And you've been seeing something on your farm and saying, why is it in it? But maybe it's two different soils, texture, color, depth, etc. So it's important for you to check with your ministry, ask them they have equipment. Come and take a sample and give me the results and the recommendations.
That's an important thing.
Yeah, we really appreciate your presence here, Trevor. Tonight.
We didn't touch extension officers, but there's another area.
But we're really proud of you, Trevor. I mean, bringing this level of expertise to the region, actually. And we're really hopeful for this project, given the importance of it and its focus.
It creates hope.
And particularly as it deals with, as you mentioned, the whole question of our food security, which is our being, our life. Thank you very much, Trevor, for coming.
Pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thank you, my brother.
Viewers, that's all the time we have. We want to thank you for being with us at the MTV Community Forum. We thank our technical staff and all. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.